This is the Bible Ranger, and this is Evolution versus Creation, episode 92. Is evolution stupid? And I know I misspelled it. That's just creative license. All right. How did life begin? This is the evolution point of view. Evolution point of view, that's the question that everybody wants to know, right? Evolution states in their textbooks that everything, the beginning, started out of nothing. And it actually says in the books, really, nothing means nothing. And then everything fit in less than a period on a piece of paper, like a dot. Everything. Then nothing in that period of dot exploded and made everything. And matter, which came out of it, like in this top picture here, formed into clusters like galaxies and nebulas and other things, okay? And obviously there's a lot of space in between them, but instead of being evenly distributed, it went into clusters. And this would happen in a total circle here. All right. So after that, the Earth was in a molten state, and eruptions are going on, and volcanoes, and everything was melted, the rocks, everything. And eventually through time, billions of years, it cooled down, it started raining. The rain will go on the rocks and the mountains and the dirt, and it filled the sea with the amount of minerals of primordial soup, and then life, bam, oxygen and lightning just came on and created life, which is a miracle in itself. That's evolution. Now in creation, God created all life, who did everything basically in 6-day creation and rested on the 7th day. Now he just rested just to show us as an example. He didn't need the rest himself. Then he broke down the days into 24-hour days. Now if you don't have a watch or clock, the way to tell time, the best way to describe a day is the evening and the morning. In the Bible says was the 5th day as an example of a day. Now the original earth was perfect, and it was made to last because we were here to inhabit the earth forever originally. Once Adam and Eve sinned, there was a downgrade on the earth, but not substantially. And then once mankind became sinful 2,000 years into it, it was destroyed by a flood because of man's sin. And then there was a tremendous downgrade on the earth. 7 days. Don't you ever wonder why the whole world uses 7 days? Just food for thought. All right, so in short, creationists believe that in the beginning, God, he did the creation. And evolutionists, whether they want to believe it or not, in the beginning, either rock or minerals or dirt was the beginning for them. So basically, you came out of those minerals. That's their God. All right, but we both have faith in something or someone. There is a faith of element. We don't know where God came from. God was always here for us. Now, something had to be here for something to explode, even though they say it's nothing. That's ridiculous. Everything was nothing, and then nothing became something. That's more faith than believing in the Bible. I don't even see how they don't see that. The difference is that an evolution is tax supported and we're not. That's a huge difference. Now, life from non-life. We all know that can't happen. Okay, that's like basically something like a library being created by itself by chance. It's just not possible, okay? And DNA in itself, just DNA alone, the chances of DNA being spontaneous creation, there's a scientific notation here that is just incredible number. It's way beyond the realm of possibility, way beyond. If you were to measure the universe, the whole thing, in inches, not feet, not yards, but inches, it comes up to a number of 10 over the 28th power. And that's a large number. And this shows you how ridiculous the number of DNA being created by itself. It's that it just can't happen. Okay? And just to throw some more egg in the face, okay? According to evolution, when the world was created, it started spinning. I don't know how it started spinning, but it started spinning. Okay? And then from there on, everything should spin in the same direction. Well, in our planets, everything turns like the sun does, except we have a planet here, Venus. It turns the way it wants to turn, which is the opposite. And then you have Uranus, which turns on its side. That's interesting. And then we have moons. We have a total of 6 moons that spin in the opposite direction. And the thing is makes it more interesting, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune's, they have moons that spin in both directions. Because they have multiple moons. Some moons spin clockwise and the other moons spin counterclockwise. You know, if you want to believe this, that's fine. That's up to you. That's your business, okay? But don't teach it to the children, okay, which they don't know any better. Or at least give them a choice to learn at least both sides. That seems fair. Okay, the laws. Where did the universal laws come from? In evolution, I mean, they don't really have an explanation for that, okay? But we have the laws of universal gravitation. We have the laws of motion, like Newton's laws. We have conservation of mass and energy laws. We have the laws of thermodynamics. These are things that always happen. We have electrostatic laws and other ones, okay? Those laws are made specifically for life. There's no question about it. We have scientists that are evolutionists that even say that. It's like, these laws seem to be made like for us. Wow, what a revelation. Carbon dating. And I have way more information here to give you, but I only gave you a few, just a little bit of them, okay? 1963, a living mollusk shell tested to be 2,300 years old. And it seems to be a variation of mollusks. This is one of them. Some of them, they're just different. I didn't want to put 1,000 pictures there. 1971, a freshly killed seal tested 1,300 years old. 1975, a baby mammoth, the top part of the mammoth measured 26,000 years old, and the other part measured 40,000 years old, the same mammoth. In 1996, they tested early man, okay, supposedly, quote unquote. Let me see, which one was this one? This was Homo erectus, okay? And one test tested him to be 53,000 years old. The other test was 27,000 years old. And I don't know if this was the actual error of 96% error, which is incredible. But in one of those tests, there was an error that was 96%, which wouldn't be good for anything. Now, Mount St. Helen, you know, it erupted and they had lava and everything else. They tested these samples, freshly known samples from 1980, and they tested to be anywhere, a huge range of anywhere between 350,000 years to 2.8 million years old. And we know they're from 1980. This shows you how unreliable it is. And there's other mountains that we know when they erupted. There's at least 5 other ones that I can think of. And they all tested very old, from 250,000 years to even older. Okay, so these tests are not reliable. Now, in 1981, an evolution publication said that when they do a test like this and it agrees with them, they use it. Which makes sense, right? It supports the theory of evolution. Now, if the test somewhat agreed, they would kind of put it in a footnote. But if the test disagreed with them, they just throw it out. Like, wow, how convenient that is. Now, we also have things called symbiotic relationship, which they have to exist at the same time. And if you pause this, you'll be able to read some of them. You know, bees go with other particular ones. You have one animal that cleans other animals, like this alligator here and this bird. He can easily eat the bird, but somehow he knows that it's good for him to clean his teeth. And I mean, who came up with that? Like, you know what, one day I don't feel hungry, go ahead and clean my teeth. I'm going to tell my relatives and my sons, and I'm going to pass on the information. No, this is natural from nature that God gave them. Okay, we also, termites is very interesting. And by the way, this symbiotic relationships goes from animals to plants to microbes. It's incredible. And termites can eat wood and you can swallow it and all that, but they can't digest it. They depend on microbes that are in their tummies, and the microbes eat the wood. And I mean, what came first? The microbes? The termites? What did they eat before? Very interesting. Now, the human body, so much you can say here, and I'm just speeding for condensed version. But in the Bible, in Psalms 139:14, it says, I praise you, for I am wonderfully made. And amen to that, because we are. And if we were just to talk about the human body, we have a nervous system right here, which the brain itself, it doesn't even understand itself. It's just so complicated. But we have a system that goes throughout the whole body with nerves. When you feel, it could be sensual. It could be protects you from being harmed by keeping your arms in a hot stove or continuously things. It's incredible. You got the circulatory system, the heart that never stops pumping. The heart itself, you can have a 55-gallon barrel, which is huge. In one day, the heart can fill 36 of those 55-gallon barrels. That's incredible. And it doesn't stop beating. That's the last thing that, obviously, when it stops beating, you're dead, obviously. But then we have the digestive system, which it's an immune system in itself. It filters the junk. It lets out good nutrients. It breaks things down. It produces energy for the body. It's phenomenal. Then you have the muscular system. And then you have ligaments in there. You have tendons in there. And you can work out. You can, it adapts to whatever work you do. You can have rougher hands. I didn't even talk about the skin. Just the skin itself is incredible, the dermis and the epidermis. And then we have the skeletal structure, which gives us form, right? And strength. And if you train, I mean, the human body is capable of doing incredible things like this young lady over here. So I mentioned nervous system, circulatory, respiratory system, skeletal, immune system, digestive system, and muscular. And this other one. All right, halos, radio polonium halos. And basically, they're a snapshot. They're proof that the Earth was not in a state of molten lava, all right? And what it is these granite pieces of rock, when they're cut and they're looked into in the microscope, Dr. Robert Gundry, it's hard to read his name, it's so tiny to me, he sees that it has a snapshot of the creation of this granite. And these halos here, they have a very short half-life. I think it's just a few hours. For example, like when you see fireworks and you see them and they're beautiful and they only stay there for seconds. Well, these halos only stay there for minutes. So if God is creating this rock, these granites, and he's got them molted and he cools it off, it happens in a very short period of time. It shows proof that the Earth was not in a molten state, because these halos would not have been there if it was a prolonged time. I believe minutes is the half-life of this. And basically it's a snapshot of creation. And he was a respected, if I remember the story right, this is a long time ago since I heard this. This doctor here was very respected in his community until they found out that these halos were supporting the creationist view, and they were like, no, they took his funding away, and basically they shunned him. I don't even know if he was a believer or not, but I think he became a believer after he found this out, and they changed his whole life basically. But it's a snapshot of creation. All right, they don't even believe it, and I'm talking about evolutionists. Like, look at this picture over here. This picture says that evolution is a religion, and you've been hearing me say that for a little while. Evolution is a religion because it requires more faith than what it takes for Christians to believe in the Bible. I mean, we have manuscripts that check themselves. We have history. We have prophecy. We got so many things that helps us with our faith. They don't have any of that. And they like you to believe that all scientists believe in evolution. That is not true. Okay, there's thousands of scientists that do not believe in evolution. The thing is that they don't get publicized much. I actually have about 100 quotes of these scientists that talk against evolution, but I'm just going to show you 2 or 3 of them. Okay, it's just too long to list them. Now this man here, and I forgot to copy his name down, but he's in my list. He said basically for the last 20 years, I've been working on evolution. Okay, and there was not one thing that I knew about it. Think about that, 20 years. That's what somebody can do in a full military career. So the last few weeks, I tried putting a simple question out there to basically his peers of scientists, and basically tell me of one thing that is true about evolution. And basically, they would be silent. They wouldn't know what to say. Finally, he got to somebody who was a little bit more bold about it. He says, yes, I do know one thing about evolution that is true, that it should not be taught in high schools. And then Evolution, it also goes to say that evolution is not only conveys no knowledge, but it conveys anti-knowledge. So that's pretty strong statements against evolution. This is them. He worked for them for 20 years. Oh, this is the information right there. Dr. Collins Pearson, evolutionist. There you go. Good. I'm glad I got it. All right, now I'll do a couple more here. It goes, and this is what I already said, that they like to tell you that there are no scientists that are evolutionists, but they are. Now, this is one of their quotes. Evolution is not a fact. This is from Dr. Karl Popper. Okay, it's not a fact. Evolution doesn't even qualify as a theory or hypothesis. That's an incredible statement. Okay, he's a leading philosopher of science, right? Like I said, I have 100 of these, literally. Then this is by a man named Sir Arthur Keith. Okay, and I got this from a footnote here. That's why this 4 is there. But in 1959, when Darwin's book turned to 100th anniversary, he basically said, and they picked him to talk about Darwin's book, right? But he basically said, it is unproven, evolution is unproven and unprovable. We believe only because the only alternative is special creation, and that's unthinkable. We can't possibly think there's actually a God. And there's other people who actually say that the reason we have to believe in evolution is because we want to sin. They actually say that. Incredible. All right. Evolution is stupid, okay? And evolution is a distraction, and it keeps us from God. You know what? And atheism is stupid too, for a matter of fact, because you can actually say that you don't know if there's a God, and that's honest. You're being honest about it because you don't know. Not everybody knows everything. And atheism, I can't see the word right for some reason right now, but they say there is no God, and that's so ignorant that it's unbelievable. Okay, they don't know everything. They probably don't even know 2% of everything, but yet they tell you, with a matter of fact, that there is no God, but they don't know. So that's stupid too. All right, it's a wake-up call because this evolution is really confusing a lot of young kids, and then they don't have a lot of people to debate it, so they end up believing that through their later stages in their life. So don't be fooled. The stakes are too high. Your soul's at stake. Okay, you need to follow Jesus. He's the Redeemer, because we all sin and we're all going to be in punishment. Okay, but God has made a way for us. He loved us that much. Look at Romans 10:9 and 10 and confess that, Lord, I need your help. Lord, I need saving because I need you. You're the creator of everything, and you created me, and I fell from your grace, and I need redemption. It's basically it. So if you support me by, please give me a thumbs up and put a comment in there. I appreciate it. Even a topic saying that I would like this topic in the future, and I appreciate that. And subscribe. That really helps me out. We hit over 100. Thank you, Jesus. And everybody who's with me, thank you very much. This is the Bible Ranger, keeping the Bible simple yet rich in content. Thank you.